Salutations. I have a story I wrote, and I'm gonna read it now. It stood there, almost as if to taunt me. The savory cheese melted before itself as a slow, viscous liquid pouring itself to the plate below. The sauce and cheese swirled in a harmonious unity, and I nervously desired it. My eyes dared not to look, and my jaw clenched. Its smell filled my nostrils with what I had only surmised to be what I so desperately needed. The stacked cheese, sauce, and calories could satiate me for the whole day, and I'd have eaten it if it didn't come to life. This wasn't a metaphor, no. Had it been such a false statement, perhaps the lasagna would be sitting in my stomach, grieving of its unfortunate fate. Its death would be on my hands, and its burial place would be my stomach. Unfortunately, no such thing would arrive, and I now only had this lasagna sitting on its plate, screeching in such a high-pitched manner as I was to make the surgical cut for my consumption. Such a thing proved useless, and as this melty, fresh out of the oven being continued its screech, I felt such a smoke grenade deafening me. Eventually, with the same confusion a weapon would cause, so I felt it. And in that exquisite return to my senses I gained, so the lasagna produced its words. "Were you about to eat me?" it questioned, as if to judge the very nature of humanity. Man was higher up in the food chain than lasagna, certainly. The lasagna went on. "For many generations, you and others like you have mauled to death thousands of us. Through our friend Darwin, however, we have evolved to finally communicate and ask the question, why create us just to destroy us?" I was confused at the question, and I realized quite quickly I couldn't accept this truth, this being. Were they always so? What had I been seeing, and what was I hearing? I probably just needed a nap. I went to bed and lied there in a peaceful quietude, insurmountable to any counterpoint. Any noise, any distraction, and any other form of quiet proved, anecdotally at least, inferior. And before I could think another thought, I didn't feel alone, and I drifted. Though I was asleep and, therefore, presumably not in my full conscious state, I felt a warm presence, like a hug telling me I was no longer alone. And despite this warmth, I'd paradoxically seen a ravenous act of hatred in my dreams. They were, among others, spaghetti monsters, 20, maybe 30 feet tall. Those were the little ones. And they floated, running away from the skyscraper-sized men and women, Godzillas too, the pasta beings. And these people had destroyed everything. With each mauled pasta and each consumed, the earth grew darker, and smoke filled my lungs, and upon the third, or perhaps fourth cough, I awoke. It was the grease and cheese and sauce that stained the bed, and to my woe, the lasagna sat on my sunken pillow beside my head, its noodly arms around my throat. What was once a delicious cheesy aroma that filled the air now nauseated me. What a shame that something so delicious and so constant could poison its very nature and uproot itself to be aligned with evil. It may seem silly to say that lasagna was evil, and perhaps among the populace it remained an untrue statement, but I'm telling you, this lasagna was evil. And after it ruined my sheets, I had come to a connection that this sentient lasagna would become quite a nuisance, so I decided to kill it. I mean, apparently I was going to kill it anyways, and having turned to evil, it would have to be destroyed. Unfortunately, after adjusting myself awake, the lasagna scampered off like a crab crawling away. I couldn't quite catch its mechanism of motion, but being a newly evolved species, I knew I'd be faster. But I was wrong. Like a snake, it slithered across the floor. It sped faster and faster, leaving a never-ending film of cheese behind it. The cheese acted like a deterrent, and even had I been fast enough, the slippery cheese trail proved defeating. I wanted to ignore it. Many days have passed since the lasagna folded itself into the outside world through my doggy door. I still didn't understand why or how, but this lasagna was ruining the world. I sit on my couch watching the news, and I could only remember the way it folded itself like a protein, and as a virus ready to infect the world. And as I saw the newsman eaten alive by the lasagna, I thought back with great regret. If only I skipped lasagna that one Thursday evening. And I remember its face, blank yet somehow with such a stare that cuts the soul. It harbored in me a sort of depression. I wasn't sad specifically because the world was ending. I was sad to watch it. To watch a glorified meat and cheese sandwich swallow the world's oceans. To watch it consume others as we've consumed them. To watch us turn into breadsticks to a forever hungry beast. Our blood its sauce. And somehow, I knew I'd be last, which was more terrifying than anything.